We put together the June Sucker Recovery Program because of the Endangered Species Act and the requirement that we protect the fish that's in Utah Lake. One of the things that we have to do is we have to make sure that in order to continue to get water in the valley and for uses here in Utah, that we're able to recover this endangered species. We've found that there are several things that we have to do to recover June suckers. One of those is to remove some of the competitors, and carp is one of those fish. During the past year, we have conducted a pilot study, and we were able to take out over 1 million pounds of carp in just a short 4 or 5 month period, which shows us that we can achieve our goal of getting 5 million pounds a year if we get the right circumstances and we can get enough people out removing carp.
Carp have been pretty destructive here in Utah Lake. They've been blamed for a loss of water clarity, a loss of biodiversity, and probably most importantly, through their feeding behavior, they've removed the majority of the aquatic vegetation from the lake and really changed the lake into the state that we see it in now. We've been doing research on how to get on top of the carp population, maybe eliminate some of these problems that they've caused, and the studies have indicated that if we can reduce the population by 75%, we will then see a change out here on Utah Lake. We'll see some of the vegetation come back. We perhaps will see clearer water and see more biodiversity out here.
A lot of people wonder how we fish year-round on Utah Lake because sometimes we get ice. We can actually chop holes in ice, get nets underneath the ice, and how we actually bring the fish out and are able to harvest them.
When our crews go out and fish through the ice, Bill Loy, he's been fishing the lake for years, goes out on the ice, and during our pilot study, he actually teamed up with Jeff Riedemann out of Minnesota, a commercial fisherman from there. They came out and fished actually through the ice. What that involves is cutting a series of holes in the ice in kind of a semicircular line, dropping the net, threading it through each hole. They then retrieve the net, bring it back to a large hole, and basically bring all the fish out through that larger hole. In this net haul that you're seeing, this is one of Bill's largest catches during the pilot study. He removed over 60,000 pounds of carp with this. Took him almost 2 days to get all the carp out of the net. He had to leave some in the water overnight and come back the next day and keep pulling the carp out. It was encouraging to see such a large catch. Bill's been pretty innovative in coming up with methods to get the fish out of the net. You'll see kind of a homemade device here, kind of like a backhoe, in which he's rigged up a net to be able to scoop large numbers of carp out of the net and out of the water. You'll see people standing in the water. They do that in order to hold the net down. It keeps the fish from escaping from the net. When Bill gets a load of carp out, it will take him some time to get them out of the net. At that point, he's transporting them to one of our disposal facilities. When he does this transporting, we want to get a weight. We want to know how many pounds of carp are coming out of the lake so we can kind of track our progress, make sure we're reaching our goals of 5 million pounds annually.
At the same time, we've also tried to find a way to dispose of the carp in a way that's productive, and we think that we've found several ways that we can do it, and we're trying to focus in right now whether we'll turn them into a liquid fertilizer, fish meal, use them for mink food, or possibly use them for compost. There's a number of different uses for carp, and we're hopeful that we're going to find one that'll allow us to use them productively. Given the fact that 90% of the biomass is carp, we know that much of the energy of the lake goes into production of carp. We know that once we start removing the carp, we will get a different fish structure out in the lake. We're hopeful to get a lot of the predatory fishes that most people like to fish for, and they include things like walleye, white bass, catfish, and a number of other species. It'll take us about 6 years to get the number of carp out that we need. But we're actually hopeful that as we start removing carp, we'll actually see a change in some of the fish community. We're hopeful that that'll happen almost right away, that we'll start getting better catches of more usable fish.
Obviously, when we're out fishing for carp, we're going to run into some other species, catch some other fish. This bycatch is a great opportunity for us to learn more about the fish in the lake. The process we've set up to handle that is we have biologists from the State Division of Wildlife Resources out as observers watching the fishing operation. As we collect these other species, it provides a great opportunity for us to collect some more data, do some more research. We're counting the bycatch, these other species, we're weighing them, just collecting some data like that. When we catch June suckers, it's a great opportunity for us to get length, weight data, and actually tag more fish, get them back into the water. So we're minimizing the impact on other species. It's also a great opportunity for us to learn some more about the lake and the fish in it.
As a recovery program, we're so excited about this because what it means is that once we remove 75 to 80% of the biomass of carp in this lake, that it's going to change the lake itself. We'll get aquatic vegetation back in here, better water quality, probably greater clarity. I think people enjoy coming down to the lake more, and we'll turn this ecosystem over into something that's very usable.